Hey, welcome to How Stress Affects Your Health and What to Do About It. I'm Jamie Staker, and if you don't know me or know much about me, I am a certified health coach, certified personal trainer, and I have a bachelor's in exercise physiology. So I just love the health industry. My niche as a health coach is sort of mindset and habits. Um, but also, I really like to talk about other factors that really affect our health. And right now, especially if you're watching this during the crazy Rona fad, sorry, the COVID, whatever we're calling it these days, if you're watching it during that time, you are more than likely stressed. We are all going crazy. Crazy, and everything in our lives, it seems, has changed. And so I wanted to shoot this out here for free, like just a free workshop at this moment in time to hopefully help some of you to find some sanity in all the stress. So let's go right into it. Okay, I'm kind of a big fan of like fun facts and quotes, but here's a fun fact for you. So, did you know that 70 to 80% of all GP patients, general practitioner patients that are seen, have stress as an underlying factor? Oh, sorry, a major underlying factor. Like, big reason we go to the doctor is really because of stress, and most of the time you won't find that. And modern medicine is great and wonderful, okay? But a lot of times it's band-aid medicine, not root cause medicine, right? So if the doctor would get down to the root cause of why you're stressed rather than just giving you a band-aid, a medicine or something to cover it up, they would find that stress is a major factor in the reasons that we go to the doctor. So what causes you stress? Take out a pen and paper. We're going to be taking some notes. And if you have done any of my online programs, I have a couple of online health coaching programs that I do. And in those programs, people know they be getting out their pen and paper to take some notes, okay? Or your phone, however you take notes, okay? But I want you to write down right now what causes you stress. Start maybe with the biggest things, and I want you to go down even to the littlest things, okay? So maybe just pause and take a couple of moments to figure out what causes you stress. I'm going to tell you a little bit about a story, just a time in my life that I was really stressed. And the picture, I just thought I looked really crazy. I'd actually just been camping, so that's what the crazy is all about. But and haven't washed the hair and all those things. But my crazy stress story, one of my few, periods in life where I just was so stressed was when I decided to take 3 jobs and have 2 children under the age of 5. That wasn't my best move, and I was so stressed. It was just day to night. I mean, I would work, it was a 40-hour work week, so I'd work all day. I'd come home, I'd like make dinner, clean up dinner, make lunches for tomorrow, and go to bed, and then like wake up early and just do it all over again. I mean, that was our life. And we owned a business. I had my health coaching business as well that I've always just kind of done on the side part-time. And my goodness, I just was so stressed. My husband was stressed with his job, so it was all just awful. And at first, I was just running through the motions so much that I didn't really even try to do anything about it. But I did eventually do something about it, which we'll get to later. Right now, all you need to know is we all have periods in our life that we're so stressed, but it doesn't serve us well or our loved ones well to run through life like a crazy person, okay? So we'll figure out what, why, and how, right? We'll figure out what we're going to do about all this stress. Okay, I want you to get that pen and paper back out again because we're going to try to figure out if you're in the right place. Like, is this going to be something that will help you in your health and in your life, right? So let's get that paper out, make 2 columns. One's going to be for you if you are experiencing any of these signs or symptoms, and the other column is for family if maybe there's like some family history of, IBS or type 2 diabetes or whatever, okay? So go ahead and make your 2 columns, and as I read this out, just, put a check mark or something. You can maybe abbreviate these, type 2 diabetes, maybe T2D or something, you know what I mean? So just kind of abbreviate them really short so that you can get it all in, all right? So if you or your family has history of type 2 diabetes, of obesity, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, lack of libido, heart disease, hope I'm not going too fast, stroke, deep vein thrombosis, early menopausal symptoms, hormonal imbalances, IBS, constipation, indigestion, Alzheimer's, memory loss, or anxiety or depression, and or both, either or. All of these things can be caused by stress. Okay, so you're in the right place if you or anybody in your family, like if y'all have a family history of any of these things. So now I want to talk about the physiology of the stress response. Now, if the word physiology like doesn't appeal to you, I think physiology is so interesting. I love to know about the body and how the body works. I think it's all just really fascinating. So I'm going to try to make it fun, okay? But my example is kind of in the background. If you can see it, it's The Croods. If you've ever seen that show, it's actually a pretty funny little kid show about these like cavemen kind of people, and the dad is who I want to talk about. So the dad, Grug, he is, you can tell he's very driven by his brainstem. So our brainstem is in charge of keeping us alive. Okay, it does our autonomic nervous system functions, but it's also just that, oh, he says it perfectly. He's like, never not be afraid. Anything new is bad. Like just fear, fear, fear. He's very fear driven because his brainstem just has big control over him, I guess. Oppositely, your prefrontal cortex is kind of your, this is what I would say, Eep, is that her name? The daughter, she is very interested in new. She wants new and exciting and adventure and learning. Like she's all into all that stuff, probably because her prefrontal cortex has a little bit more control over her. So, and we talk a whole lot more about that and dive a little bit deeper into our brains in, not too much deeper, but in my How to Crush Your Fears and Live Your Wildest Dreams workshop. So if you're interested in trying to figure out why do I sometimes, like I want to do something and I start doing something, but then I like get scared and I pull back and I don't ever end up getting to do the things I really, really want to do. We'll figure out there's a little bit more physiology that you can watch in that video. So that's How to Crush Your Fear and Achieve Your Wildest Dreams. Let me know if you want the link to that. But so in this one, I'm gonna reel it back in a second. We're just gonna learn about what does the stress response do? When Grug is spending his days just being fearful, what is that doing to him and what does that do to us? So now your stress response, it's not all bad, right? So his brainstem being in control and him being fearful all the time, that's putting him into the stress response or your sympathetic nervous system. Okay, that's our fight or flight. That's like I'm running from a lion, I'm in fight or flight. We needed that. I mean, that was evolutionarily speaking, that's how we stayed alive. Okay, we do need our stress response. So it's not all bad. But I want to talk to you about what does happen when our stress response is turned on and what happens when it's turned on for like a great length of time. Okay. So this looks attractive, right? Okay, we're gonna pop up some examples here of what our body does when it's in your sympathetic nervous system or fight or flight state, okay? So your emotional brain will be on high alert, and that's good. I mean, if you're like trying to be cautious and run from a lion, that's the like example everybody uses, okay? So that's what I'm gonna use. So when we're running from a lion, it's really good for your emotional brain to be on high alert. Does that make sense? Okay, it increases your blood pressure. That's good because we want to transport more blood to our brain and to our limbs so that we can run away. Okay, so increased blood pressure is very good in the short term. Your immune system prepares for injury, so it goes ahead and it inflames. It flames up because it's like, okay, I'm going to prepare for if we're injured, we're going to be ready. Okay, so we're preparing. That's good. It makes cortisol more available to the brain, which, a lot of cortisol, that's our stress response hormone. Okay, so we don't really want a lot of cortisol, but in the short term, it is good because it improves your brain function. Decreased digestion. When you're running from a lion, do you need to really digest your sandwich you had for lunch? No, not really. At that moment, you just need to run, okay? So we kind of shut down digestion just for the short term. So I get going too fast. Increased insulin resistance. That's good. That keeps the sugar in so that we can use it for our muscles to run, okay? To run away. So increased insulin resistance is good, keeping it in our cells. So a well-functioning body should spend the majority of time, and I've never found a number for this, so I'm just going to say like 80 to 90 at least % of the time should be in rest and digest. Okay, so that's our parasympathetic nervous system. And then we should just have like brief moments of the fight or flight, the stress response. fight or flight, or sympathetic nervous system. However you want to say it. I guess there's lots of different terms, but that is how a well-functioning body should be. But in our day and age, we don't spend most of our time like that. Some of us spend exactly opposite. We spend 90% of our time in fight or flight and only 10% resting and digesting. And, you know, some people it's 50-50 or 30-40, however, 30-40, 30-70. In any case, it's not how it should be. So what happens when our sympathetic nervous system is turned on too often? Let's go into that. So I'm going to show you, and I'm just going to give you a bunch of examples. You can totally read it later if you want. I'm not going to read every single one of them, but I want to talk about healthy stress and its long-term effects. So your healthy stress response, again, I'll go into this on the next page, but I just kind of wanted to show you. So in case you wanted to read all these, you can totally pause the video and take a look at them. But the left column is healthy stress response, what's really good in like the short term, but then what are the dangerous effects of staying in your stress response long term. Okay, so some of those examples I'm going to get into right now with the same image that we used before. Okay, so we talked about how your emotional brain being on high alert was good for the short term, but in the long term, we're more prone to worry about danger when there is none, and it causes a lot of anxiety. So I think that makes a lot of sense as to like why there's so much anxiety. I mean, I feel like anxiety is a total buzzword nowadays. And anxiety is another workshop that I have. That's another one of my free workshops, actually, that if you're interested in some great tips for how to I guess recognize if you have anxiety, and also how to, you know, combat the anxiety and how to kind of help yourself with like without using medication. Now medication's fine, and I do talk about that in there, but like if you want to use the thought process way of getting rid of anxiety, another free workshop I do. So let me know if you want that link. But anyway, we're more prone to anxiety when our emotional brain is just constantly on high alert. We also have chronic high blood pressure. So remember the short bursts of high blood pressure was great because we need to run away, right? We need some more blood pumping to our limbs and our heart and our brain. But chronic high blood pressure can lead to increased risk of heart disease and stroke. So obviously not good. Chronic inflammation, now remember inflammation, we wanted our immune system to kind of be ramping up just in case we got injured. But if you have chronic inflammation, it increases your risk of many things, a few of them being type 2 diabetes, heart disease, obesity, and depression. The next one we talked about was cortisol. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of explain the long version because I don't know how to do it short. So I'll read first. So hormonal imbalances means like you could have a symptom of lack of libido or early menopausal symptoms. Now, this is because we said cortisol is our stress hormone, right? When we're stressed, we make lots and lots of cortisol. A precursor to making cortisol is our LDL cholesterol. So LDL cholesterol also happens to be a precursor to making the sex hormones. So like testosterone, estrogen. So if we are really stressed, our LDL cholesterol is going over to make lots of cortisol. And there's not enough of it left to go down and make those sex hormones, the sex steroid hormones. So, I mean, again, makes a lot of sense. You're going to have a lack of libido and menopausal symptoms if you don't have the right sex steroid hormones in your body. And you can't make those if you don't have enough LDL cholesterol, and you're not going to have enough of that if you're too stressed. I hope that makes sense. Sorry, it makes sense in my little brain. But that is why oftentimes you go to the doctor, they'll give us that Band-Aid fix, but if they would just get to the root cause, they would know, oh, well, like you don't have the right hormones because you don't, you're just too stressed, right? Totally crazy. Okay, so digestion, we said that we don't need to digest when we're running from a lion. That's why we have constipation, IBS, indigestion. I read that 80% of our over-the-counter drugs are digestive aids. Crazy. So many of us have so many digestive issues, which I do think there are other reasons for that as well. But stress is a big one, for sure. Okay, so the last one, we said that insulin stays in the cells, okay, because we wanted it. We wanted to be able to burn it for fuel. But if your insulin resistance or insulin staying in the cells stays in there too long, then it contributes to the development of type 2 diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, and the production of VLDLs, which are a bad cholesterol. So as you can see, in the short term, stress is okay. We needed stress to survive. But in the long term, that's what's killing us. I say that's what's killing us, among many things, right? But So I just, from all my research, I had to just pick a couple. I couldn't talk about everything right now, but a couple of the top stressors of our day, I believe, are just the fast pace of life, which makes us stressed. Social media can be a huge source of stress for many people. I'm not saying that it's all bad, but it can be harmful if you don't know how to use it correctly. And then diet. So let's go into those little. Um, so how, I guess the next question is like, how do we solve this problem? That's why I'm going to go into the stress, the diet, and the social media, because I want to help you to kind of learn some stress management skills. So how do you solve this problem? Well, I'm going to just tell you 3 affordable things that you can do to manage your stress. Okay. So we're going to talk about limiting social media a little bit. Then we'll go into whole foods and then talk about meditation and really some other ways that you can get your sympathetic nervous system turned off and turn on your parasympathetic nervous system. So this is going to be a cool story. I'll try to make it short. This is Dr. Chatterjee and Ben, which, sorry, this picture is not them. Okay, this is just a picture from the internet. But I do happen to have his book right here. It's called The Stress Solution. It's on Amazon, and it's amazing. And so many things that he talks about in his book, I do in my health coaching program. So we're geniuses. No, I'm just kidding. But I was really pleased, actually, to, as I'm reading his book, I'm like, ah, we do that. That's awesome. So anyway, this is his book, The Stress Solution. He is a doctor. I mean, he has a British accent, so I don't know. I'm going to say across the seas. But anyway, so Dr. Chatterjee and Ben. So Ben was a kid, a young kid. I think he was a young teenager that Dr. Chatterjee met with. And this kid, he was kind of confused because he had a good family life, like good, nice, solid family. But Ben was starting to get really like stressed and anxious, and he actually got admitted for trying to harm himself. So in order to be released, he had to get like a doctor's note saying like, okay, he's cleared for release. So he saw Dr. Chatterjee. That's when he saw him, was after he tried to harm himself. So anyway, they talk, and he found that everything was really okay in Ben's life, but it sounded like he just was on his phone a lot. He was on social media and like on his phone a lot. So Dr. Chatterjee said, Ben, I want to try something with you. I mean, I can prescribe you something for stress. I can totally prescribe you something like that for stress and anxiety. Or we can go this other route and see if we can't try to do some other things before we give you medication. And Ben was like, cool, let's do it. What do you want me to do? So he said, and they started really slow and simple. He said, just an hour before you go to bed and an hour within waking, you don't touch your phone. You don't get on social. You don't turn it on. So get an alarm clock, right? Get something else to wake you up, and don't be on your phone just for those 2 hours a day. Super easy. So Ben goes away. I think it was either a week or two later that he came back, and he was like, well, I'm not great, but I do see some improvement in my mood and just kind of how I'm feeling. I do see some improvement. And so Dr. Chatterjee says, okay, let's take it another tiny step forward. He said, how about 2 hours? So you wake up at 8 o'clock, you don't look at your phone till 10. And if you go to bed at 8 at night, you look at it the last time at 6 o'clock, right? So he just kind of widened that gap. And that's what they kept doing, is just lessening the amount of time he spent on his phone. And then they did add in, like a couple weeks later, they added in healthy fats. And they did do some things to his diet. But he was so impressed how much progress Ben made simply with not being on a screen. It was crazy to me. So it just goes to show that that can be a leading cause of stress in our lives, and taking it out really, really can improve your quality of life. Super cool. So in the book, Dr. Chatterjee asked some questions that I just thought was really interesting, so I wanted to share. Again, you're totally welcome to buy the book. I mean, I don't know, $12, $20, I can't remember what it cost me, but totally worth it. So one of his questions was, to ask yourself, am I posting for intrinsic motivation or external validation? What are we going for? Do I really need to be posting? What's my motivation? Okay, so just ask yourself that. If you want to do it right now, go ahead and write it down. You got a pen and paper? Go ahead and write it down. The next thing he asks to ask ourselves is, do I really need to always carry my phone around with me? And now for some of us, that's a yes, and some that's a no. I mean, my husband and I, we have like a family business, and I'm on call. I take calls all the time. So that's a hard one for me. However, I do just leave it out of sight a lot of times. I mean, I try to turn up the volume really loud, but I leave it out of sight because I find myself just being on my phone when I'm supposed to be with my kids, or just being on there out of boredom, you know, I think that's another good question. Like, why am I even on this? Oh, I'm just bored. Maybe I can think of something more creative to do, or, you know, spend time with my family, or maybe there's something I need to get done rather than like wasting away my days on my phone. So I actually did like that one, even though I was like, can't get rid of my phone. I need it for work. So anyway, try it though. Try it. The next question is, do I really need to post every single experience to my social media? And he says friends. He talks about how, and I can't remember the numbers. It's been a long time since I read his book, but the numbers were like, you know, we had less than 100 friends back in the day, probably. But now that we have social media and we can be friends with people all across the nation, I mean, we can have 300 plus friends, you know, on social media. So he's like, he talks about that, how like, are they really like your friends? They're obviously not your deep connecting friends. You know, those friends, most of the time you spend time with, like you're actually physically with them. But yeah, just ask yourself that question. Do I really need to post every single experience? And I thought this was interesting because sometimes you know, we take pictures of something we did and I am going to post it on social media and then I'm like, why, Jamie? Like, you know, I do question myself, and it's interesting how often I think, oh, not really. I don't know why I need to post that. Interesting. Okay, last question. Why am I doing this? And I think that kind of goes back to his, is it for intrinsic motivation or is it external validation? Do we need to feel validated by other people on social media? Do we need to see the comments and the likes? And that's how we're addicted to it, actually, is the dopamine hit. I also have another, gosh, I keep thinking of, it's not a free one, it's just in my program, but it's about social media and how we are addicted to it because of the dopamine hit we receive when we get a like or a comment, or, you know, somebody likes our stuff. We feel externally validated by them. Anyways, I guess this is good. You're getting a feel for kind of what my programs are all about. And it's really just trying to look at other factors of our health that really affect us. And I do also go into, you know, health. I do know a lot about food and exercise and things like that. But food and exercise, you know, that's what everybody will teach you. I'm going to teach you all the other stuff that's really, really deeply affecting you. So, and the nutrition. Okay, anyway, so that's social media. Okay, ask yourself those questions. Okay, so Whole Foods, we're just going to do a couple of examples because I do go a little deeper into food in my Healthy Body and Mind Mastery program, the online course. So we'll just go into a little bit of this. So first of all, eat the rainbow of fruits and vegetables, all the colors. All the colors have different phytochemicals and different nutrients in them. And some of them even work like synergistically with one another. So just variety, lots of colors. Okay, eat the rainbow. Adding in like beans, legumes, nuts, seeds, and whole grains. I feel like so many of those, I mean, do people think to eat beans? Like, I don't know, I just don't think that people ever think to eat that. I always have to remind them, beans are high in protein, like low in fat. These are really good for you. Eat some beans. Lots of fiber, really good for you. Nuts and seeds are really high in like omega-3s in healthy fats. And then whole grains have B vitamins, which I just feel like a lot of people are deficient in. That's just one of those things people are deficient in. Also, it's a whole grain, so it's got the fiber as well. Just antioxidants, lots of good nutrients in them. Okay, so try to incorporate those into your diet, as well as just a variety of food is always really key. And so if you need to just try new things, I honestly feel like that's kind of me. I don't like a large variety of like fruits and vegetables. I kind of like my things and that's it. But I've had to learn to like just try new things, Jamie. Just try cooking it different ways. Try adding it into this or that. So like adding it into casseroles, that seems to be a good way to hide stuff. That's how I get my kids to eat vegetables. Hide those peas in their macaroni. Not like they're hidden, but anyway. Yeah, so just getting a variety can help us to have a diverse and a resilient gut microbiome, which is a whole nother subject of health, but our gut microbiome is a big, big deal. Okay, so that's Whole Foods. That's all I'll say about Whole Foods for that. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I like this. I forgot I put it in here. A good general rule of thumb is if it came from a plant, eat it. And if it was made in a plant, don't. Now that may not always be true, but I think it in large part is. So if it came from a plant, eat it. If it was made in a plant, don't. Okay, getting down to our last one, meditation. I love meditation, which is so funny because for a long time I made fun of meditation. I didn't understand it, but our ancestors for like in all cultures for years and years and years, decades, años, that's Spanish, sorry. Many eras, we have done meditation as a practice of health, okay? And nowadays I think some people kind of gawk at it, or at least like I did. I used to just think that's so dumb. But in learning of health coaching, I have realized how helpful meditation can be for your health, and especially, you know, when you're stressed. So doing meditation stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest. And that's really the goal here. So this didn't need to be titled meditation. I could have named it any of these things, but I was just trying to do kind of sort of an umbrella name. But if you don't want to try meditation, you can also try yoga, prayer time, or breathing. So let's go back to meditation. I have a meditation app. There's tons and tons of free meditation apps that they will kind of talk you through. And it's usually like you're either doing thoughts, like I've done not counting thoughts, labeling thoughts is the one I've done. I've done ones where you're kind of focusing on different parts of your bodies. I've done one where you're breathing. I mean, they just kind of, there'll be different kinds, but the point of meditation is it's actually how you exercise your brain so that you can control your thoughts. So especially, gosh, if you're somebody who's always negative, you know, self-talking yourself, if you're always thinking of, well, why am I not more this? Why am I not more that? I'm so fat. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm not ugly. I'm not ugly enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not smart enough. Like if you have a lot of negative self-talk going, practice meditation. That will help exercise your brain so that you can be in control of your thought processes, okay? Meditation's awesome. Headspace is one of the free ones I've tried. Right now I pay for one. Yoga is really good, and a lot of yoga, if it's good yoga, they'll do like deep breathing because you're supposed to like, again, oh, I didn't mention this. So, okay, the reason that breathing is, you know, you do a lot of breathing in meditation, in yoga, and in deep breathing, which we'll talk about. It's because oxygen stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system, so that's how you get to switch over, okay? So when you're doing yoga, if they're telling you like breathe deep here, do it, okay? That's important. That's the important part of it, okay? So yoga, prayer time, if you are a religious individual, prayer time, just kind of to be in a quiet space alone with yourself, can be a really good way to stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system and get out of stress. And then deep breathing. So I put 5-5-7, there's 4-7-8, there's lots of different numbers or ways that you can do it. And I actually kind of just do what works for me. I have a smaller lung capacity, I feel, than a lot of people. So anyway, so what it is you breathe in for 5, you hold it for 5, and then you breathe out for 7. Okay? So again, getting that oxygen to switch over to your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest. We're gonna do it, okay? Seriously, so I did this workshop, you know, in person with people, and I've done deep breathing just with clients as well. And I just find that it always makes me feel a little bit more relaxed. So I would like you to do this with me, please. Otherwise, I'm doing it by myself and you're just watching me. So don't make me do that. Okay, so just get comfortable. I want you to get your bum nice and even in the seat, your feet flat on the floor. Just rest your hands in your lap or on your knees or however you just feel comfortable. And I'm just going to talk you through it. We'll close our eyes together. I feel like that really does help you kind of focus in. Okay, so please do this with me. Okay, get comfortable. We're going to breathe in for 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Let's go again. We're going to do it 3 times, okay? Big breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold 2, 3, 4, 5. And out 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One last time. In 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold 2, 3, 4, 5. Out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You may open your eyes. I hope you feel just a little bit more relaxed. I feel like I always do. Every time I do that. All right, so let's move on. Yeah, shake it out if you need to. But so when I did this in person, this in-person workshop, I asked who feels 100% confident that they could walk away from this workshop and consistently manage their stress without falling back into old habits. And most everybody just kind of looked at each other. And I was like, perfect. That's great. If you don't feel like you know exactly perfectly well how to manage your stress via meditation or any of those other topics, how to eat whole foods or how to kind of limit your social media, that's okay because I haven't actually given you the keys to success. So those are coming. Wait just a second. But the reason we can't, the reason that just like knowing what to do, that we just don't always do it, right? And I talk to people all the time. They're like, well, I know I need to eat better. I know I need to do this. I know I need to exercise. We know what to do, guys. We live in a high fact diet world, okay? We're all getting lots of facts all the time, but that doesn't make us change anything. You know why? Because knowledge doesn't equal behavior change or habit change. Just knowing doesn't do much for us, does it? So the three key ingredients that I wanted to point out is having a system, support, and accountability. These are kind of the three things that I think help people to be the most successful, the fastest. So me doing these things when I was really stressed, I had all my jobs and I was being ridiculous and I was just living a stressful life, man. And I think even now I like just during Rona, this is a stressful time, guys. You need these stress management techniques, especially now. But this really saved my health, and I think for me, especially my mental health, because I didn't let it carry on too long. I mean, I was a health coach, and at one point I was like, oh yeah, Jamie, you know what to do to like get out of this. So just do it. You know, I found my accountability partner, just another health coach that I went to school with. I mean, I knew my system, but she also like held me accountable and helped support me. So really helpful. And like I said, you're gonna have ups and downs, and maybe need to manage your stress throughout your whole life. But I really felt like this saved my mental health. Whew, for sure. And the thing about it is it doesn't just affect you, okay? You notice that? When you're really stressed, it kind of puts us on edge, right? You're quicker to respond with your kids, quicker to anger, quicker, maybe with your spouse even as well. Like oh, just makes me melt. Just my whole life just kind of melts when I'm really stressed. So I want you to ask yourself and get out that pen and paper again. How has stress been affecting my life? Okay, think about in your relationships, friends, family, kids, spouse, whoever it be. Has stress been affecting that relationship? Has it been affecting your career? How has it been affecting your health? If it has been. Has it been affecting your ability to focus? Has it been affecting your finances? It's a hard one too. And has it been affecting your relationship with that which is greater? So in health coaching, we feel like a big part of most people is some kind of relationship to that which is greater. For some people, that's God or Allah or whoever it is for you in your religion. Maybe it's just the universe. I know some people kind of just believe the universe is in charge, and that's fine too. So whatever it be, your relationship with whatever is greater or bigger than you, how has that been when you're under all this stress? Okay. So kind of take a little inventory of your life right now. You can always feel free to pause the video and think about this and write some things down, but how has stress been affecting your life? Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit about my program. If you wrote anything down about like, oh yeah, stress is affecting me and causing these symptoms. Remember at the beginning we talked about type 2 diabetes, deep vein thrombosis. I mean, lots and lots, depression, anxiety, lots of things that could be affecting it. So if back there you were already like, oh yeah, I'm in the right place because I'm feeling these things, that could be a sign that this program could be helpful for you. Also, if you feel like stress is really affecting all those areas of your life, this could be a perfect program for you. So I have a couple different ones. The big mama program is Healthy Body and Mind Mastery program, where lifestyle medicine changes your life. Okay, so just a little bit about the program in case you're interested is we do positive nutrition, so we don't diet. We do not like go on a diet. I do not tell you, do not eat these foods. Okay, instead we do positive nutrition where we kind of focus on the different food groups and we add certain things in because, well, for several reasons, which maybe I won't go into because just to kind of keep it shorter. So positive nutrition, adding in nutrient-dense foods. We go through habit change. I teach a super quick method to how to try to get you to trigger your positive feedback loops to make habits faster. It doesn't take 66 days or 21 days, or it doesn't have to take a long time to develop a habit. So that's pretty cool. And then the last thing about the program is it really is sustainable, right? So for anything to be sustainable, it has to be enjoyable. Anyone that's ever done my program finds it very enjoyable and sustainable, okay? It is simple, and I think it's fun. We do coaching calls, so you can do a call with me a month-ish, so that I can do some real laser coaching with you and see how you're doing in the program, which is just all online. It's so super easy and simple. If you want to read reviews as well, that might just be a good idea to go in and click the link on the next page. I'll show you. But anyway, you can click the link and go and see some reviews of people who've done the program. Okay. So results that people have gotten from this program and results that could be yours are losing weight, decreasing their symptoms of anxiety and depression, putting diabetes into remission, pretty cool. Increased energy, definitely one I hear a lot. Feeling lighter, I definitely hear a lot. And feeling calm and managing stress, definitely. All these results could be yours if you will take action today and invest in your health. The best investment is one in yourself, one that's going to make you a better version of you, because who gets to receive that better version of you, guys? Everybody around you. So I love that investing in yourself isn't just for you, it's really for other people too. I always find that so cool, because I know for sure that when mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, right? All right, guys, I know that when you change your habits, you change your life. And like I said, that's kind of what my program's all about, is changing habits. And it really is a game changer. So change your life now. Don't wait. Stop waiting. Stop procrastinating. Stop throwing it to another day, because like I said, investing in your health changes not just your life, but everyone around you, okay? So click this link. I hope it works. If not, please direct message me or PM me, however you want to say it, on Facebook or Instagram, and I can shoot you the link. But try this one. It should lead you to the Healthy Body and Mind Mastery program. There's a description of the program, curriculum, like you can kind of preview it. And then it does come with coaching calls with me. And then there's reviews at the bottom that you can just read, see what people that have worked with me are saying. So that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for being here today, learning about stress. I hope that this helps you to reduce your stress. Bye.